I'm so happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you. Look at you. Oh, Carla, hot to trot. Love it.
Yes, you look beautiful, Carla.
Thank you. I'm a little too funky town, but that's the
I
closest.
love it.
So I'm working with that.
Get it, girl.
Dig it.
And you,
How are
Michelle.
You guys? How's it going?
Great.
Take me to Funky Town. I'm still in Funky Town. Well, I am Michelle Rose Dome, and I'm in Dallas, Texas.
My name is Carla Zamora, and I'm on Long Island in New York.
And I'm Monica Lynn, and I'm from Miami, Florida. And we love classic movies.
And we're friends.
And we're doing the ultimate classic movie vlog just for you. Each week we break down a classic movie and give behind-the-scenes stories and fun facts that only 3 theater people in love with vintage film can tell you. We are...
Flick of Time! So what are we getting into today?
Let's get into it. Get down, get your drink. Get down. I don't know why I'm doing this. Okay, so...
It's very, hype.
It's hyped. It's hyped up. This is a good
super
time.
hype.
It isn't just every day that we get to hang out. We get to hang out while regaling classic movies. I'm so excited. So let's get into this week's topic, Tootsie.
Tootsie.
1982.
1982.
Honestly, guys, I wish you could play the soundtrack right now, like that opening song or that song while Dorothy Michaels is walking down the busy streets of New York.
That was so good.
That classic 70s, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
I
good.
It took me into it immediately. I was in the zone.
Classic scene that shows up a lot in film is that busy New York sidewalk. Was that one of the first times? I wonder if it was one of the first times we saw this trope of like busy New York.
I think the first time that it was actually ever done was, I don't know the exact year, but it was a film called On the Town. It was a musical, and that was the first, if I remember, if my memory serves me right, I'm riffing here, I could be wrong, but it was the first film that was ever filmed on location, and it was in New York City. So I guess, I think it was in the 50s, Frank Sinatra, Gene Kelly, Ann Miller,
A little bit ago.
Yeah.
a lot of greats, and I think that was the first time, so maybe that's when it kind of started, and
Cool.
maybe it grew from there.
Here it is again. It's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. Oof. Credentials. Gotta go over them. All right. First, did the writer achieve a clear and captivating plot?
Yep.
Yes.
Very nice. I mean, the trailer. It's right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Black and white. Non-negotiable. You know what this film's about. And by
Yep.
the way, when I went to go get outfitted, I was describing the wardrobe choices, and the girl was like, "So, Mrs. Doubtfire?"
You know, I thought about it the whole time. I was thinking about Robin Williams. And that happened way after.
Let's see. I want to see 90s.
Yeah.
Miss Doubtfire was the 90s, yes. It was,
So Miss Doubtfire was definitely inspired by this film.
100%.
highly possible.
Yeah. How could it not be, right?
Yeah.
Dynamic, smooth, roller coaster of emotion.
Yeah.
I was on bated breath. Will she, won't she?
Right.
Tension.
Tension.
That's true.
But it was never too much. It's a light-hearted film.
So no needless details.
No.
No MacGuffins.
No
Bringing that
MacGuffins.
word back.
Hey.
Okay.
And MacGuffins, what does it mean? What is
well,
MacGuffins?
MacGuffin was originated during the time of filmmaking for Hitchcock.
That's
that
right.
was meant to be a detail, much like the letters of transport in Casablanca, but not meant to take away from the narrative.
Right.
So,
Right?
yeah.
MacGuffins.
No
Sure.
MacGuffins.
Any MacGuffins in the film, to be honest. I think it was pretty nice.
I agree.
Short of just like the Sandy storyline, right? Just have like counter arc to have more tension, more stacks up against Dustin Hoffman's character.
And also just a little bit more conflict, right? Because it's not only, the conflict that he has with his feelings, but it's also, oh gosh, now there's competition in addition to that. So yeah, Teri, personally.
It was originally touted to be rated R. They got it PG. I kid you not.
Wow.
And 2 years later, eventually, it got adjusted to PG-13.
I wonder why.
Sauciness.
A sex scene?
I
Could it
mean,
have been?
they don't want to get graphic.
That would have been really interesting.
Was it probably because of the time period and the
Maybe.
content?
Maybe.
It's still a little taboo for the idea of a man's, well, we'll get into the storyline, but the idea was a little taboo.
That makes
Maybe.
sense.
I think that's a great point.
Yeah. Super taboo for the period. The 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Movies of the same theme or topic that exist that are out there. Soap Dish.
Never seen that.
Never seen it.
Delirious.
Never seen it.
The Graduate.
Really?
Never seen it.
Aladdin. Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes.
Frances. And my favorite year. Funny enough, with Frances, Jessica Lange, the love interest, she ended up being in that movie prior to this film, and we'll get into some hot trivia with that in a second. But let's describe it. Showbiz is, first, gender-bending farce and comedy of errors was not, of course, Tootsie, but can you guess which Shakespearean play? Viola.
Errors. Comedy of Errors?
Close. 12th Night.
Oh, no, 12th Night. Hello,
Oh my god, hello, Carla. We were in it. We played...
You were in it? Who did you play?
I was Viola, and she was in love with me.
I was.
Naturally. I mean...
I am. That's when we fell in love for real.
Still,
That's actually...
you guys will talk.
That's when I met Carla. Was during 12th Night.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah,
And we were cast opposite main roles.
Why did I know this?
I know, we should have known that.
I heard it here first. I love it.
Cool.
Okay, and in terms of the shots, the camera angles, we have close-ups, slides. We get that sweeping scenery of New York.
Right.
A
A lot of big close-ups of Dorothy, of course, as the lead.
Yes.
But,
And by the way, Dustin Hoffman was very firm on, like, if I'm not convincible as a woman up close, I don't want to be cast.
That's
And
interesting.
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
And
because
that I was going to talk about the interview with Dustin Hoffman, him discussing
get into it.
and how he gets really teary-eyed because he felt like he experienced the plight of a woman in the 80s with all the pressures of having to be beautiful, and during this interview as he's talking about it and his process, he gets teary-eyed. He starts crying. And
guilt. I think it was the underlying guilt of like, wow, like I see how I may have made somebody else feel.
Yeah.
Because of my own shallow desires.
And
Whatever.
he even says, there has to be so many interesting women that I missed out on meeting because I didn't approach them because they didn't look the part that is pressured on women to look, like the beautiful look. Crazy. And so he starts crying at that point.
His definition.
Moni, if people want to check out that interview, where can they find it?
Oh, it's a YouTube. I don't know. It's Googleable with keywords Dustin Hoffman Tootsie's interview. But
there you go.
We can definitely put it in the comments below or whatever.
There you go. Fun facts. Let's get into them. You ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Ready! Okay. So all the insane ways he gets fired and/or his auditions come from Dustin Hoffman's real acting life.
Oh. Tell
You're
me
too
more.
young. You're too old. We need somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. Fun fact.
Ooh.
Dustin Hoffman was not the first choice for The Graduate.
Correct.
It was Robert Redford.
Little
Robert
tangent.
Redford is a pretty boy. He's, the tall, athletic.
And a bestie to the director, Sydney Pollack, of this film.
Right
They're
there.
gross.
There he is.
Really?
He's right there behind
Maybe
Michelle.
rest. Maybe
Oh, no,
rest.
That's Sydney Pollack.
I know. He's his dad in Will and Grace.
Right.
What?
But,
I did not realize that.
Redford couldn't do it, and I guess a casting director who had seen Dustin Hoffman in New York just auditioning for things was like, shot in the dark, guys. I know a guy. He's not exactly the look, tall, athletic, blonde guy. You have this guy, and that was his film.
Wow.
What a different movie that would have been.
So The Graduate was Dustin Hoffman's first?
I think that was his breakout, yeah.
Wow.
One of, anyway, if. Yeah. Included in American Film Institute 2000, that year, list of top 100 funniest American movies. At number 2. That's pretty high. And then I add, Dustin Hoffman originally did not want to play this comedically, aforementioned, to show respect.
Wow.
I wanted to be of reverence.
Man, he's
He
awesome.
was all in, that method man.
I love him. This gave me a new appreciation for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
The quote, "That is one naughty hospital," was voted as 44th of the 100 greatest movie lines by Premiere Magazine
Ooh.
in 2007.
What is the quote?
One naughty hospital. All right, I want to talk about director, actor. So Sydney Pollack. Okay, he studied acting with Sanford. Oh, excuse me. No, we're gonna back up. Wait. Yes, Sydney Pollack. He's actually an actor himself originally.
Oh.
Way back. This guy.
I did not know that.
This guy, Sydney Pollack. And he studied Meisner, of all techniques.
Yeah.
And that is where he met Robert Redford and Natalie Wood. Okay, can you imagine that acting class?
Can you imagine?
I quit immediately. I didn't throw my script in the air and then I quit.
Last week, Carly, you mentioned that he's very funny. Yeah, Homeboy directed 40 films.
Wow.
Oh,
He acts in this one, and it's complimented in where he brought feminist issues. Well, it has been complimented with Sydney Pollack in most of his films that he brings to light feminist issues to public awareness using his remarkable wit and wisdom. What a mensch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Funny enough, the actress that plays Sandy, Teri Garr, she originally didn't want to sign on for this film either. Her and Jessica were like,
I read that.
She's like, you know
How
what?
come?
This feels like another sexist film where a dude is the lead and he gets the part,
Right.
dresses up as a woman, We're glad she took it. She was nominated.
Really?
Hilarious. That scene where she's stuck in the bathroom. She's like, I was in there. Nobody heard me banging.
Yeah. Oh.
Funny enough, Sydney Pollack's brother is a wardrobe designer, as he was on this.
Really? He was
In
the
family.
designer? Get out.
Yeah, man. Talented family.
Yeah.
His daughter, Rebecca Pollack, served as vice president of film production.
Wow. In the fam.
Right?
I love
He
it.
directed 12
I appreciate
different
that.
actors in Oscar-nominated performances.
Wow.
Jane Fonda, Gig Young, Susanna York, Barbara Streisand, Paul Newman, Melinda Dillon, Jessica Lange, Dustin Hoffman, Teri Garr, Meryl Streep, Klaus Maria Brandauer, and Holly Hunter.
Wow.
Cousin of the jury at the Cannes Film Festival. I go on. That was the tutelage. That was the directional style, the artistic vision for Tootsie.
Cool.
Wow.
Okay, so we talked about Dustin Hoffman trying out for Dorothy, passing himself off as his daughter's Aunt Dorothy at her parents' evening at school, like outside of the fact. His performance was so strong, he actually convinced the teachers, and I never suspected.
No way.
Method! I wrote method in my
Major
notes.
method. That's hardcore method.
The crew would only give bad news to Dustin Hoffman if he was in drag. They said he was much nicer as a woman.
That's funny.
I mean,
I'm not surprised. I don't know why. Yes, I do. There's just...
Sorry. You make me
Manouche.
Uh-huh.
The working title for the film was originally Would I Lie to You? However, before she would pass, Dustin's mom who actually had a fatal heart attack before the film came to fruition, but he dedicated his performance to her. Her nickname for him was Tootsie.
Right, I saw that. Yeah. So did Dustin Hoffman name the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, it was his idea. What was it called before? Do you know?
Well, the suggested title was "Would I Lie to You?"
Would I lie to you?
Would I lie to you?
Cast me. Would I lie to you? Cast me in your.
Honest.
Bill Murray, the best friend. Bill Murray. Let's talk about him.
Let's talk about
Jeff. How about that play that they were writing together? Awesome. Way to support each other.
Yeah.
Artist supporting artist. Love that.
Love that.
He agreed to omit his name from the opening credits to prevent audiences expecting a Bill Murray movie along the lines of like Meatballs or Caddyshack.
That's my note. He always plays a funny weirdo, but not in this movie. He played a straight character, which I thought was really interesting for him. That's not his type.
Weird for him.
Huh? Say it again?
It was weird for him.
Yes. Did it feel weird?
Yeah, a little bit. I was like expecting from him, and I guess that's just my own bias of Bill Murray. But I'm like, okay, Murray, bring it on, make me laugh, and that really didn't happen. He played a straight character, a supporting role, and he did a great job.
Yeah, he did. But I actually love in a way seeing things like that, because then it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like you're not really you're not pigeonholing yourself in a sense, and successful at it. You're not. You know, there are certain actors, and I don't want to name names, but there are certain actors who I do respect, but I don't see them doing anything but that one type.
Sure.
And it was cool.
He has range.
Nice. Dorothy Michaels tells April, played by Gina Davis, this is one of her first, that she thinks all younger actresses as her daughters, and what kind of mother would I be if I didn't give my girls tips? Remember that? In 2014... with Jimmy Kimmel, Gina Davis finally recalls that this was her first movie and that she was, in fact, very young and inexperienced. And she didn't even know she didn't have to come on set on the days she wasn't shooting any scenes. Right? So that was point number one she learned real quick. And then Dustin Hoffman, he acted as a mentor to Davis. One piece of advice he gave her was that, I quote, "I know you're going to move to Hollywood and be successful, and your co-stars are going to hit on you. And you should not sleep with any of your co-stars. It's a bad idea. So here's what you say. When they hit on you, say, oh, I would love to. I'm very flattered, but I'm afraid it would ruin the on-screen sexual tension."
Smart.
Funny enough,
it's true,
Davis said that she later told that tactic to Jack Nicholson, and he laughed at her saying, oh my God, where did you get that line? No punches with that guy.
I guess he disagrees. Jack Nicholson gets around.
He is a notorious playboy.
Really?
Allegedly.
I mean,
I did not know that. Yeah, I mean, he's a handsome gentleman for sure.
Truth.
Yeah. Today.
Yeah. Actors and actresses were told to approach their characters not as comedic characters, but as dramatic characters in a funny situation.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That was the direction.
It makes sense, because otherwise, if you're playing funny, it's not really funny. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think this film flows so perfectly because prior to Tootsie, Kramer and Kramer had happened with Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep, and when it came to perfecting his southern accent as Dorothy, she resourced him.
Well,
they had kind of a falling out on the set of Kramer and Kramer. It was very intense.
Really?
The divorce story, but they made up in time and they were able to come together so he could get some accent training. Amongst other things, he used a few different tactics.
Wait a second, a divorce story? Meryl Streep and...
Kramer versus Kramer.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see it. Let's add it to the list.
On the list.
Yeah, that's a younger Meryl.
Right, but Meryl and Dustin weren't involved romantically in real life, were they?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Just a tip on the accent.
Heard.
Little trivia.
Cool.
he would read the role of Blanche Dubois, a streetcar named Desire, and she would offer him feedback. Yes! I can always depend on the kindness of strangers.
I can always depend on the kindness of strangers.
Ooh, Monty, do it!
I can always depend on the kindness of strangers.
Yes!
Did I do it?
Full circle.
Even if I read streetcar, I can't hear it without the southern accent. That's strange.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I get it.
It's subtle. Yeah. I was going to say about Bill Murray, we were talking about his range for a little bit, say what you want, weird or no. He actually improvised most of his lines.
Of course he
in
did.
the script.
Get out.
Yeah. He came from improv.
He came from improv, right? I was gonna ask you. Yeah.
But did he come from Second City?
Let me confirm. He definitely did SNL.
Yeah, a lot of the SNL alum from that class, I believe, came from Second City.
Yes, Second City and the year. I'm getting it, our fine folks.
Oh my goodness.
The timeline. 73.
Wow.
So like almost a decade before he did some improv. And he got to use it now.
I'd like to apologize to our viewers for the sound coming from my ceiling. My neighbor is vacuuming. And so
tremendous.
It sounds really loud. Can you hear it?
We'll edit it out.
Not that well. There's an ice cream truck outside, and I was like,
I hope they can hear it. So I apologize, my lovely viewers.
Thanks for sticking with us. Okay, so he first got to the idea to do the film, actually, Dustin Hoffman, while filming Kramer versus Kramer. And he felt his character in a film that had to be both a mother and a father. So he started thinking about how to play a man and a woman. Several scripts later, because this took a lot of production, several writers and a few directors later, because Sydney didn't originally want to do it, Dustin had to mail flowers. Yup. Wine and dine him.
He had to woo him.
He had to wine and dine him. The man and dinner first.
That's funny.
That's funny. The flowers worked?
Apparently.
I mean, is it? I can't get enough. I can't get enough of indicating my friend right here, Mr. Sydney. So 2-hour makeup, including shaving his legs and arms, like a swimmer.
Yeah.
And the back of his fingers in a sauna, no less. Yeah. Taping the back of his facial hair to tighten his features, and installing daintier-looking false teeth.
Yeah,
The
that's
teeth
part
also.
of. They have a.
No amount of makeup, however, could conceal Dustin's 5 o'clock shadow for very long, so he would only be filmed for 3 to 4 hours at a time.
Wow. She even says it in the movie. She gets close to him to give him a kiss on the cheek, and she's like, "Oh, you're right. Do something about that. I can feel it."
Love it.
How long did it take to film this movie if you're filming 3 hours at a time?
Oh my goodness. It was lengthy. It was lengthy.
Yeah.
But Sydney got it done.
Wow.
Other
So he'd
choice
have to
reps.
come out of makeup, shave, and get ready for his next scene, or to keep filming.
Depending what the schedule would allow. I'm not sure if it was a unionized project. You can only work so many hours.
Right.
Technically 12 before it's overtime. Then you gotta pay your actors.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Running some ish.
A lot of work.
Other prep, Dustin. I mean, if we needed to hear more, he watched La Cage aux Folles multiple times in order to get into it. He also visited the set of General Hospital to get in that soap love so he could immerse.
Oh, yeah.
And conducted extensive makeup tests.
Wow.
Wow. That's devotion.
Character.
We talked about theatrical debut for Miss Gina Davis, my girl Christine Ebersole as well.
Yeah.
In the party scene, musical theater actress.
I didn't know that.
Estelle Getty.
Yes! Tell us what she's
From
seen.
the Golden Girls.
Oh.
Tell us where she's seen.
She's she's Sophia from the Golden Girls. She's the oldest lady in the Golden Girls.
Yes, where do we see her in the film?
Oh, she was in the party scene also. It was pause the movie because I was like, that looks like a Stelghetti song, like Kermit the Frog, like and there it goes. I was like, oh, she was in this movie. And then I was like, who else was in this movie that I may have missed? And Christine Ebersole, I recognized her, but the name didn't click. And then I got it, obviously, and it was.
Sorry, who's Christina Ebersole?
Christine Ebersole. Monica's Googling it.
Yeah.
It's happening. You know it's serious. While you're Googling, I'm going to mention this movie was one of 3 movies providing 4 performances that were Oscar nominated for drag at the 1983 Academy Awards year alone. 4 movies! 4? And we're watching another one right after this.
Wow.
Wait, the same
according to Garr.
year? So Victor Victoria had to be that one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So the Victor Victoria, Tootsie.
Yes, ma'am.
Did they film Lange?
World according to Garr.
Oh. Okay.
And then this, Tootsie.
Wait.
Tootsie.
Tootsie?
Victor Victoria. World
Garr.
according to Garr.
Mm-hmm. And the last one?
What is the 4th one? Oh, man.
Lange? Like Carlos said?
No. That came a little earlier, the film adaptation. And we'll get back to it. Get back to it. There's so much trivia. Okay. Okay, so we hinted at it. Jessica Lange, she plays the love interest. She plays the ever lovely Julie. All right? And she said of this movie, it took director Sydney Pollack a long time to get her to sign on because she asked herself, did she really want to play some ditzy actress yet again? She had just come off doing the Blacklist actress story of Frances.
Right.
She won an Oscar for Tootsie, so I guess it all worked out.
Did you feel like that was an Oscar-worthy performance?
It was very natural.
Yeah.
It was. I guess you have to see the other films that she was up against too.
Who else would you see in that role?
Who else would I see in her role? I don't know. Any sweetheart-looking, ingenue, strong female.
I'm thinking. Well, she's not a strong female.
Yeah. Well, you're right.
No. I think her character was actually kind of soft.
Yeah. No, you're right. You make a good point.
Totally.
Derek, maybe, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe go Derek. I would probably go that route too.
Heartthrobbie.
Huh?
Heartthrobbie for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Suzanne Summers.
I think she played a little ditzier, especially knowing the characters that she's played in the past, like Mork and Mindy, and So.
Haven't seen it. Add it to the list.
That's a TV show from like the 70s.
Yeah. That's Robin Williams, one of his breakout roles.
I remember.
Where he mostly improvised on set. True story. Yeah. This film, getting back to Tootsie, was a part of the breakthrough cycle of mainstream Hollywood studio movies featuring gay partnerships and drag characters. Others included Making Love, Cruising, Partners, Victor Victoria, and Personal Best. Nice. You want to get into your quotes? You want to get into more? Let's dish. I feel like you guys have notes. How did you enjoy this film?
Okay, so I'll go this route. I'm gonna riff a little bit. I did love this film. I thought it was hilarious.
First time?
Pardon?
First time?
No, I saw it a very, very long time ago. So it was a very long time ago, at least 10, 15 years ago. But when I was born. But when one thing that I really loved about the overall film was you can see the realization of how he was treated as a woman and how he had to cower from time, or how maybe he felt like he had to cower back or just kind of bite his tongue from time to time, which was something that he as a man was not used to doing on set. And it was just something that I was very aware of. Like I think he was also, as a woman, hyper aware of carrying yourself as a man versus carrying yourself as a woman, and how if you speak up as a man, how it's listened to, except for his, well, maybe not even at this point, because his character was always brushed off as a man, but even more so as a woman. And I think it was, I think he understood why, right? So, like, one was just because he was a guy that you couldn't take seriously as an actor for whatever reason. But the other one was really just because I don't even care to listen to you, or I don't even want to listen to you, because, and that's the difference. And I think that you could see, well, yes, you could definitely see that
thought process.
Yeah, that process and that tug of war in his mind.
Until he has no censor and just starts speaking his mind, and his whole life as a woman changes. Well, his whole life changes, period. Because he starts getting all these opportunities, which is really interesting that they would celebrate her, Dorothy, speaking out, and then she's rewarded for speaking out, which I think is so progressive of the time. I love that.
But also, right? Also the pushback, like, her fellow actor who's like, he kisses everyone on set, or, little nuance. The tongue.
Oh, that was a good moment.
But little things like that, it's like, no one would ever have the nerve to do that to me. Even if he was a guy that I was doing a show with, he wouldn't just have the nerve to stick his tongue in my mouth just because I'm upset, right?
Right.
But I think that also showing how successful Dorothy became once she, should I say, stepped into her power.
Yeah.
Hey! Great phrase.
I think that the point of that was to emphasize, yes, you're always going to get this pushback. Yes, there are always going to be people like the director who's going to push you aside. However, if you keep stepping into it and you keep showing up and you're stubborn,
putting in the work,
it's going to work, and it's going to work for you tenfold. Because you're assertive and you're strong like a man, but you have the softness of you have that softness of the woman, and so that can soften the blow of certain things that maybe men they don't have as much finesse.
Accustomed to the duality. I think you are so right. The idea of the reward that is coming from that work of the duality, of that balance, the masculine and feminine.
Divine feminine energy, and someone wrote a book about it. I don't know. It's about the balance and finding both within yourself. So, like, even if I don't remember.
Magic of the divine feminine and the divine masculine.
There it is.
Book, divine feminine energies. Clicking on it. In case you guys are curious, we'll put it in the notes. We'll put it in the comments. Yes.
I had so much fun with this movie.
Yes.
And all of the blast from the past technology that's in it, like voicemail. Like, I have to set up my voicemail. What is it? I'll get a service tomorrow, he says. Who does that? Who gets a voicemail service? That doesn't exist anymore.
Did.
Yeah. That's crazy. It was wild to me. Stuff like that.
I think my family business still might use it, and a pager.
I'm not gonna lie, I miss that stuff. I mean, you can't. Screening was such an art form. Screening your home.
Agreed.
Back in the day. So, can I chat about costumes for a sec?
Yes.
Yay! Yes.
Yes. So I watching this film, I saw how Dorothy was a bit of an older lady. She was a lady who was probably, if you were to guess, maybe in her 40s, late 30s, early to mid 40s, I would say. And I think that her wardrobe sort of reflected it, right? Maybe I'm thinking a lot of the times when you're a young lady or a young man, you kind of hang on to certain what's the word? Style tips, I guess you can say, from your youth, because those are things that maybe it's just something that you can use consistently. So a lot of her looks came from, were a bit more 70s. That's why when I was giving you Charlie's Angels, even though this film was earlier in the 80s.
Well, it was 82. It was early.
It was very early, so that's, it still walks the line. But there were, even the hair was a little bit different. Like my afro, for example, would have been bigger in the 70s. Like, I would have to blow dry it versus let it, like, little bitty afro.
Which, by the way, it looks so good.
Thank you. I worked 3 hours. Help. But Jessica Lange's character, her look was a little bit more 80s. Like, the soft colored, like the powder blue sweaters, the straight leg jeans instead of a wide leg jean, or a wide leg, or a bell bottom denim. Her stuff was like tennis shoes. I saw a couple tennis shoes here and there. But Dorothy's wardrobe was a bit more, like flared skirts, the rust colors, paisley, fun sleeves. Things like that were a little bit more 70s. So you could see how they were walking the line with style also.
And a woman in her 40s was a more mature woman in the 80s than she is now, I think.
She would be, even when we were kids, a woman in her 40s was considered old.
Middle age.
But not today. That's not the same today.
Right, no.
So she dresses.
You can imagine
20.
But you can also imagine in the early 80s in show business on top of that. That's a layer that, like, society thinks when you're in your 40s, you're over the hump and it's over for you. In showbiz, when you're in your 30s, there's no shot, right? So imagine. So this was another victory for Dorothy.
Right.
We're not just talking.
I hadn't thought of that. That's a big deal. That's another victory for Dorothy.
Sure.
That's a really good point, because she's not just a woman, but she's an older, more mature woman on a TV show that's like supposed to be really hip and young, right? That's a big deal.
Right.
Well, in showbiz, there was some comedian years ago who said a joke, something along the lines of, like, they had 3 photos and like Dakota Fanning when she was a little girl, and they were like, this is a teenager in Hollywood, and then Lindsay Lohan when she was like 18, and they were like, this is middle-aged, and then they had like Paris Hilton or something, and they were like, she's ancient. It was something ridiculous like that, and it was like age in Hollywood, and so
crazy.
It was a comedian, so it was a joke, but that is another thing. Like, you're looking at, and also don't forget, the person that gave Dorothy her shot was a woman. So,
hello, I was just getting into it. Miss Rita, played by Doris Black.
That's right.
I felt like she was secretly gunning for. I think she was secretly gunning for that woman to get it. She was secretly gunning for Dorothy Michaels, right?
She was the whole time. Immediately when Dorothy, what was it? What was the moment when her name is Rita Michaels? You say?
The character she plays is Rita.
Rita. Okay, so what was that moment where Rita has like an epiphany that this woman is brilliant? I thought that was
up in her audition.
Right, it was her audition.
Because the director was like, nah.
Right.
He's a womanizer. He's not thinking here.
Cerebral.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
He's not thinking about how someone like Dorothy could be an asset, right? He's thinking about his own self-interest. So his superior, who is a woman, she's thinking about the larger picture.
Right.
And what benefit, asset Dorothy could be to their viewership. And she took that risk and she won big time. Big time. Obviously.
That's great.
Also, hilarious, and I'm blanking on Jessica Lange's character's name.
So Jessica Lange plays Julie.
Julie's father.
Oh my god.
Julie's father.
Yes.
He proposed to Dorothy.
Oh.
Yes, Charles Durning. He played Les.
Julie's father was hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. I didn't even see it coming.
Pobrecito.
He's a very proper conservative Dane.
But you
He's
know,
just a man from upstate New York.
and after everything, after him falling in love with Dorothy and proposing, getting a ring for her, and then finding out that Dorothy's actually a man, he took it surprisingly well.
Especially for that time.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about real life, like, and I would hate to say this, but I feel like a guy like that who has, who's pretty macho, who's hurt because he lost his wife. So there's the emotional aspect also. Like, most guys would probably get punched in the face, as much as I hate to say it.
He was close too. He kept it in. He bottled it in. He was already up there.
What is
In the senior twilight years.
Yeah.
At 52.
At 52. I mean, homeboy led a bar hopping life, so 52, yes.
True.
He was such a gentleman, though.
That's true.
The dancing.
But maybe that's also messaging, right?
Right.
That's also about, hey, listen, it didn't work out. Let's talk about less than an ideal situation for this guy. There's no punch him in the face. You just give me the ring, not at this bar, but, it's what it is. Like,
Yes.
at the very least, just keep it moving. And
Michael was willing to cop to it, to respect to his character. Like,
Yeah.
It really played. I think that this movie really highlighted the divine femininity, but also just being a respectful man.
Yep.
A respectful man. Another overall theme.
Right.
Right? In being a woman, he learned how maybe he could be a better man.
100%.
It's great.
And even
all guys, first of all.
He's what? Sorry?
All guys need to do this.
100%. Yes. Especially right now in this time and age. Necessary. And I thought it was really respectful, very, very nice, that Julie didn't tell her dad before Dorothy told her dad.
Yes.
I thought that was really cool. She's like, no, you're gonna go ahead and do this, or I'm gonna do it, but you're gonna do it. Yeah, I love that. I thought that was really nice. Cause honestly, I don't know if I would have done that. I would have called my dad crying, like, oh my God, beware.
Oh no, not me. Because also she saw how Dorothy was avoiding
Right.
that, the dad's advances, right? So now it's probably all coming together. I probably wouldn't. I would threaten to tell him also, but I would say, this is your mess. You have to clean up your. It's not my responsibility to clean up your mess.
Right. I really like that Julie did that. That was cool.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really good messages, just like you said, Carla. Really good themes in this movie about how to be a good person and accept people for who they are.
Yep.
And
except
beautiful.
walk a mile in someone's shoes.
Yeah.
Hello.
Really good messages. And so it's really interesting because the lesson that you say Dorothy learned is the same lesson that Dustin Hoffman says he learned in the interview.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
It almost comes around full circle. Like it's really it's a really beautiful thing. And I think also with Julie seeing also there is something to be said about her character where how is it that a lot of women for a little status or for an easier life or whatever will accept a lot from a guy, right? She was dating this director who was obviously cheating on her, but he was her boss. He was her superior. He was a man who had a lot of status within their particular industry.
A relationship that had been going on for a while.
Mm-hmm. Hey, isn't that common in Hollywood during this time?
It's common now.
Right. Well, today, maybe not.
Like Me Too?
But right, like Me Too, like last year, maybe maybe it was common. Hopefully now, not so much.
A little incestuous in a way.
Urgh.
I think so. Like, you know, this girl dated this musician, and then this musician, they broke up, and now she's dating this director. It's just like, it's a small enough community where if you stay within it, like, you don't have to look.
You have to think you're working long hours. How else are you supposed to network?
And honestly, being a celebrity is really difficult because everyone's in the spotlight. So it's like you tend to stay in that circle because everybody understands each other and what it is to live under a microscope.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I get it.
So, again, it's a small community. For the most part, it's a pretty small community, right? So there is some comfort in knowing that you guys can kind of understand each other without really having to say much versus an outsider. But yeah, just seeing how Julie is with her superior, and it's just like exhausting for her, and it's painful for her because it's like it's like she's trying to get that relationship that she wants, and she knows that she doesn't have it within him, but I'll just stick around because at least I know I can get something out of it, right? Isn't that a traditional mindset, right? You kind of just suck it up and deal with it because he's rich or because he has status or because, like, I don't want to be alone. Meanwhile, you have a guy who heals to try to understand you better.
And isn't that classic for women to just... Yeah, to just stick around because everything you just described. And it's sad because it's been happening and that still happens. Just so you can get ahead. How women use their sexuality for that and then let men abuse them emotionally, physically sometimes. Just because they want to get ahead, or because they are afraid of what life would be like without this person that's so toxic.
Or without a person, right?
Yes.
So it's even about this particular person. It could be anybody, but like when he goes away, how long will it take till I find that comfort with a person that can replace him? And it's a little unhealthy, but then you see Dorothy, who's like, it's just me. I'm doing this. I don't like how this is done. Don't put your tongue in my mouth. Like, you know.
Gross. Ew, that guy was so gross.
So gnarly. And then he came singing. He came to the apartment and Jeff, played by Bill Murray, rescues. Comes to the rescue.
I love that scene.
Did I interrupt something?
Right.
No.
So funny.
He is such a best friend.
Oh my gosh.
When he first started, like, she's just like,
oh my goodness. I wonder if there's any interviews with Dustin Hoffman talking about the kiss with another man in the 80s, which is just crazy to think about. On camera. That's a huge risk. This role was a huge risk for Dustin Hoffman, and I'm as a woman, I'm great for anybody, but especially during the 80s, you know, and being one of the first for a man, right?
Red American, you know, stereotypical guy, whatever. Do you think that it's, you know, things like that? I guess it would be considered sexual innuendo, but like, you know, a man kissing a man. Could that be why they were like struggling with figuring out the ratings?
Rating, possibly.
Maybe that's a good point.
Well, that's bringing them back.
Like, ultimately it all works out in the end, and like blah blah blah. But
what is the rating? PG-13?
PG-13. Initially PG.
How?
13 because of the kiss. The kissing, right?
It was like harmless to me, but
there's no nudity.
No.
Huh?
There's no nudity. There's no cursing. I can't really think of anything that was that taboo.
I'm thinking it's probably just the gender bending.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
who knows? I thought it was a great movie. It's hilarious. I
Recommend. It's on Netflix.
Pardon?
It's on Netflix for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you rate it? What do you rate this movie? 1 to 10. 1 being the worst movie you've ever seen, 10 being the best movie you've ever seen. And last movie we saw together, we saw Casablanca, and we did a 10-10-9, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm a top 10. I'm a top 10 to
I
her.
get it. Totally respect that. But I don't know if this is a 10 for me.
I don't either.
I enjoyed it.
I'm like waffling between an 8 and a 9.
Yeah, I was going to say 8.5. Can I do a 0.5?
Yes, you can do points. You can do, yes.
I'm going to do an 8.5 based on the merits of just as we've described, as we've entailed, just the level of work that these actors poured into the process of making this film, the progressive feminist issues as well. That was big.
That was big.
It was a huge deal.
Yeah.
It was a huge deal. And again, one of my favorite things, although it's a little annoying, but it is one of my favorite things. One of my favorite things in Casablanca, and this one as well. Like, the guy doesn't necessarily get the girl, right? It's kind of a cliffhanger the way that it ends. It's like, let's just be cool at first, like, get to know me, and it's not like big dramatic kiss at the end.
Cinderella story.
I appreciate that. They're like, let's be friends and let's see where this goes.
Because like you're with someone who's highly skeptical of you at that point. So
Yeah.
I love the way it ends. That's one of my favorite things. But yeah, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna go 9 because I appreciate a lot of the cringe-worthy moments as well. There's so many like moments where you just like tense. Well, I did.
Yeah.
Because it was so awkward, and I was like, how is he gonna get out of this?
Mm-hmm.
I have to. Okay, when
A weekend away in makeup.
Oh my god, yeah. I have to give this. When I first saw it, I would have said
This was your first, yes?
This was my first time seeing it, yeah. And to our viewers, most of the movies we watch is my first time seeing it because there are so many movies that I haven't seen. I have been withdrawn from cinema for years, and I'm just catching up. And I'm so happy to be doing this flick of time with you. And this is an opportunity for me to see everything I've always missed. So thank you.
Yes.
But I have to say that I gave this movie, when I first saw it, a 7. I enjoyed it. But then once I researched a little bit about it and learned a little bit and saw that interview, honestly, I went up to an 8 because of the themes that are so relevant, so important. I'm so grateful for this work. But
still today.
Right, still today. So relevant today. How mmany decades later? 4 decades later? That's crazy to think about. So I definitely went up a point. 7, I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was cringeworthy. I enjoyed it, but then now that I understand it more, I definitely appreciate it a lot more. After hearing Dustin Hoffman's story and his experience playing this role, totally impressed me, really. I won't rate it. The reason why my rating is so different from Casablanca, just because I feel like Casablanca, I enjoyed a lot more technical aspects of it, and most of the conversations that I'm passionate about among us are always technical. Cinematography is a big deal, and I didn't see a lot of cinematographical. Is that a word? Cinematographical.
We're making it a word.
Yes. Right now, yeah.
I didn't see that many interesting cinematography elements, but I really enjoyed it, and I appreciate what it's done for our gender. So an 8.
Yeah.
An 8.2.
8.5. 8.2?
Sure.
Oh, an 8.
8.2.
Yeah. 8.5. 9.
Yes.
9. Okay.
I'm
Woo! So this was film number 11?
For us? No.
10?
10.
10? I want to say 10. We did it!
10 films together, you guys.
We did a good time.
High five.
This was so much fun. High five. High five.
So what's next?
World According to Garr is next week.
Featuring
Based on
Robin
a graphic
Williams.
novel.
Robin Williams.
It's
Robin
based.
Williams, John Lithgow.
It's based on a
Glenn
novel.
Close.
Glenn Close.
Yeah, girl.
Oh, that's
Get
like
ready.
Meryl Streep to me, and Glenn Close. Oh my God, Glenn Close is so underappreciated. She is so amazing. I love. Look, I'm getting goosebumps. Look, I know when I love something when I have goosebumps all over me, and
It
immediately,
is happening.
Was Robin Williams in it also?
yeah.
He's the lead.
Okay, so he's like, okay.
He plays a novelist.
I will say this until the day I die. Talk about a man who had range. He could do anything and everything, and he always did it well. So I'm super excited. I'm going in completely blind with this movie. So I'm really excited. I love Glenn Close.
Michelle, have you seen it?
Yeah, I have.
You've seen
I
it.
love John Irvin.
I have not seen it. Carla, you have not seen it. Okay,
I never heard of it.
here we go. I had heard of
Here we
it, but
go. So excited. So if you want to hear more, guys, follow us. Follow us on Instagram at Flick of Time. I have
everybody.
been having a blast with you guys. You can follow us as well. Yes. I've had a blast. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. I am Michelle Rose Dome out of Dallas, Texas.
I'm Carla Zamora in Long Island, New York.
And I'm Monica Lynn from Miami, Florida, and we're Flick of
Flick of
Time.
Time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. See you next week.